Hello, we are here to do the energy update for Earth sign twin flames. Now, remember, in a mirroring effect, you can get the yin yang, which is a really healthy way to look at it. I'm a twin flame. I've been on my twin flame path for 25 years. I'm in union. I have been for the last 2 years, and I do coaching. So if you're brand new here, a very warm welcome. Now, I will have a channel message after this video. I'll do another one for the collective energy as well as at the end of this video. If anyone's live with me, I will answer your questions at the very end of the channeling. Now, psychically speaking, I do feel a lot of twins will start having that contact, and I'm really seeing a lot of synchronicities coming through relating to twin flames reaching communication, having movement. And I will say, from twin to twin, I'll tell you, moving back into union can be a little bit difficult for the empath energy. Not from a point that you have, what would I say? You will have trigger points, because if in fact the masculine has gone through their serpent rising energy and they have got to the point where they've had their awakening and things to that degree, your memory system and everything you've purged is quite funny. It's almost like you end up being the one that has the triggers. So compassion and love to you. Please don't second guess yourself. And just, you'll move through those obstacles quite quickly, but it can feel uncomfortable initially. And it's almost like you won't have the direct connection to it's got to be a certain way. So it's not necessarily the wounds are affecting you from operating inside of the connection, but those trigger points between the both of you can come up, but you'll work through them quite quickly. And if you do need help and you do want someone to talk to, I'm here. So feel free to actually connect in with me. So I've connected the ruin, and the way I'm doing this reading is for tuning into the energy. I do have in my private clientele groups, as well as, I will try and do a members one today as well. Otherwise, it will be over the weekend, but I'll wait and see, and we'll see how we go. With the crowning energy, I've selected a ruin, and it is in the reverse, and it does kind of make sense. I started studying astrology due to the fact I realised through my ascension symptoms I needed to know how to govern those ascension symptoms and what could be coming up. Because obviously if something's happened to us and we know our twin zodiac sign, you can see the ebbs and flows through the moon, the energy and the frequencies of where our highs and lows are going to be, depending on what's playing out in a karmic sense in your connection. Now, any detachments you've gone through at the moment, there can be those of you in a mirrored effect where there can be a little bit of air-based frequency. Now, this does link to intuition. In layman's terms, this ruin is in reverse. It's connected to body of water, lake, animal is seal, bird is duck. Astrology, it's moon, so it's your intuition, it's your feelings, your emotions, and these things can be coming up. And the element is water, funny enough. Now, we're going to talk very, very briefly before I go into the esoteric meaning of what this means for the crowning energy for you guys. Number one, before I got on this to record this video, I did see the time come up, and I've just seen 5 and 1 in the house, and there was a number on the screen, and it said 11555. Now that's an amplification of change, and yes, you do need to expect changes, but those of you of the earth signs might be finding this week to be a little bit tough due to the fact that we have heavy Capricorn energy, we have the new moon in Capricorn, and for earth signs, it was a comfortable frequency, but it's out with the old and it's in with the new. So if you had circumstances playing out in your own life, hi Jen, hi Dawn, D Shaw, it's feeling odd, I'll say that. Usually with a new moon, you will feel a higher vibration in octane. Some of us can feel very, very nonchalant, unmotivated, maybe a little bit uncertain about how to look at circumstances because we have Capricorn in Venus. So for each zodiac sign, I will put separate cards of the earth energy, and I'll also look how the counterpart is looking at you, and then some frequencies coming through of what can be coming up for them. Now at the moment we're still recovering from Mars retrograde, and it sounds odd, it has transited over now, and it is in the house of Taurus. So self-esteem, consuming, we're upgrading at the moment through our chakra system. So if you do find you're hungry but you go to eat and you really can't get a lot down, you are replenishing. So it can be the cookie jar, and it can be, sweets. And you do tend to gain a little bit of weight sometimes before union, but it drops off prior to, you know, it kind of moves off you because you're going to need that energy because you're going to be very busy in union. So it is quite normal for that to happen. Now, from an esoteric, from the mundane, journey across water, imagination, intuition, artistic, creative, and fluidity. Esoteric, soul journey, psychic powers, initiator of dreams, in reverse, which it currently is. Now, I'll explain the reason why this is coming up, so don't freak out, especially if you're a feminine watching this. You can watch all the elements relating to your chart to see where the blockages potentially can come up. But if, for instance, you're a Cancer and you are dating, you know, your twin is another zodiac sign, you can look at both and you can look at the yin and yang, which will help you integrate. Fear of change and procrastination. So if you are currently the one watching this video and any of those subjects come up, we're going to pull the cards. We're going to see the crowning energies. I'm going to pull a chakra card for the crowning energy, and we're going to say what this is about. This can be something to do with a very testing energy. You know, what you may even be energetically tuning into what your twin would have to change. And again, that's their spiritual work to do. If you do tend to find it comes up, I found from personal experience, I actually caused stagnation in the journey when I was trying to mentally, cognitively tune into what they need to do. And currently we do have Mercury. We've got Aquarius in Mercury. You know what I mean. And it is going to go retrograde by the end of this month, but we can be tuning into those things. We also have both Saturn and Jupiter there. Jupiter energy relates to masculines and Mars energy can relate to masculines. And both of those two planets, bodies, have gone through massive transformations over the last, let's say 5 months, in retrograde effects, in direct effects, transferring zodiac signs. So if you're tuning into being able to move, I would be surprised because in the masculine attributes of things, they are quite fatigued. They've had those upgrades and downgrades of change. So in the yin to the yang, yes, you're going to feel a bit fatigued. Let's have a look at what the cards are saying. We'll get back to that in a tick. We'll leave that there. See what comes through in the crowning energy. How are you all doing? Aside from being tired and lethargic, yeah, I need an infusion. I need an iron infusion. Every transit in the new year, this happens. It's like I sort of have an upgrade psychically, and then I go through a 3D experience as a twin, and then I have a purgatory experience, and I've got to upgrade again. Oh, joys. So, yes, we're getting ready. We're replenishing. We're getting things in order. There can be financial circumstances that are shifting about. And you're going to find a lot of the Mars energy, for those of you that are feminines, you need to integrate that inside you. And that can be self-worth energy. It can be building up your net worth financially and doing things to that degree. Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, I need a few shots. I need an infusion. I'm so anemic that I'm falling asleep at 4 o'clock and I can't do that no more. And I'm usually like I'm ADHD, so that's just not normal for YILDIZ. I'm like, yep, it's time again. I've got to go. I took a tablet that was going to kind of bounce me back and had some, yeah. It's time, you know. Feeling good. That's good. I'm glad you're feeling good. That's high vibe. Okay. Some of you may be very protective. And the funny thing is, if you're feeling pretty protective of yourself and you're the feminine in this polarity, and you're holding your coins close to your chest, you're following your intuition, but just be careful. You know, when we hold on too tight and we become too thrifty, what you can do is actually block that cash component manifestation. But I do feel a lot of you are really more selective of who you're giving your energy to, which is more of what's coming through you. You're following your intuition. I do feel even from a psychic nature, you guys have a hunch. You may be having this feeling that somebody's watching you or somebody's snooping. And the funny thing is, you guys have a really positive read right now. So I think it's something that's going on the other side of the fence. We'll have to see. Let's see. Okay. The past that wasn't balanced. A lot of us can start seeing those circumstances playing out now. The reason is we had the nodes in Cancer and Capricorn, and for the Twin Flame Collective, there is a shift to do with that old energy way back when. And I would say all the way back to 2018. With that, it's playing out now in a karmic sense. So we're rewriting it. So it can feel like the past is back. And yes, circumstances and situations relating to that. If you're tuning into it and you're thinking about it, you're also going to see patterns in a 3D circumstance that you were experiencing back then and that you're revisiting mentally, spiritually, psychically now. You're guided to really trust your intuition. So some of these situations that you are going to have to make a judgment on potentially this week moving into next week, you may find that, again, it's intuition and emotion over, okay, I can see the outcome right away. With the moon in Capricorn and all the astrology that's playing out at the moment, you would have had a shift. It may have started from last month, moving forward to now. As Uranus and Taurus goes direct, you'll find all of these things in your life are going to shift. And you'll find also the masculines will be purging codependent patterns and old situations that hadn't cleared out from a spiritual blockage. Your outcome at the moment is the Two of Cups. And it's funny because some of you may be actually going into soulmate energies. And I'll pull a clarifier on that one. Let's see what's coming up for those that are Earth signs. What's coming up for the Earth signs? Okay, they're asking you to not believe what you hear versus what you see. Follow your intuition. If you've heard gossip through the grapevine and about your counterpart energy, what you see and what you sow is going to move very quickly. So you might be quite firm in your demeanor to do with the situation. And it can be if the person was in a karmic relationship that, or a soulmate relationship. It doesn't have to be a karmic relationship, that you're feeling they're quite happy. But the clarifier is coming through that no and no. It's saying double no. Now, some of you also may be physically just choosing that you wish to go into a soulmate energy. Once you do reach a certain point in your self-union energy, you can, but the blockage won't be there, but you still will have the reconnection with twin. And the reason is because a part of that cycle does need to be kind of cleared out and neutralized. So you'll still gain communication, and it will end up being that you actually have a choice. Yeah, there's some circumstance going on their side of the fence that isn't looking good. Let's get into their energy. I'll pull yours first. It's almost like they're bouncing through the gate already. So, yeah, I do really think this is going to move pretty darn quickly. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is communication in the next few weeks for those of you that have none. Let's pull a crystal. Where are the crystals? Here they are. I knew I'd forgotten something. Can you all hear me? I've got the microphone well over there. I did it again. Bad me. Yeah, a lot of self-worth coming up here. Number one, I would say that for the Earth signs, you guys have big plans for 2021. I mean, how many of us in 2020 had big plans, right? It really didn't quite turn out that way. It was like universe had a plan for us. Which, ironically enough, in my twin flame path, for me, the hermit mode was a given choice. That's good because it's way over there, so it must be a good microphone. Yeah, it was a given choice. It was like, okay, I'm putting myself in the naughty corner. I'm assessing all my previous relationships, including my twin flame journey. I'm moving into detachment, and I'm going to do the work. And I really did do the work. Now, self-esteem energy can be coming through. Most of you, if you have done the work, you can be starting to really manifest that cash component in. Those of you that are earth signs. Now, even on the masculine side, this synchronistic situation is coming through too. If you felt that they had unhealthy boundaries and you felt that they weren't owning their power, I do think initially a circumstance is going to play out that can cause fear. But again, you need to trust your intuition. Now, even subjects relating to moon, which is feminine energy, mother energies, can be coming up in a subject matter, especially because we did have the nodes in Cancer and Capricorn. So I do feel, emotionally speaking, energies relating to feminine energies, you guys might be getting communication on that level, gossip, etc. But again, you're really leveling up to the point you're focusing on your pentacles and your self-esteem and your your growth, but you are selective about what you're giving it to. And this is on both sides, masculine and feminines. Okay. Capricorn. What's the crowning energy for? Okay, Capricorn. Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. Okay, Capricorn, you guys coming through with a bit of clarity. All of your heart's desires are realized. I am a clear channel of love, light, and well-being. So those of you, and you could look at this from the feminine point of view, but it's really, there is going to be a bit of clarity this week. All right. Yeah, so it's yin to the yang. And that's why sometimes on Twin Flame Path it's hard, because a lot of times astrology will mesh back and forward. Twin and I have, the opposites with the moon and that. So, but it is the mirror. So that's why you need to look at both. And it's handy to look at both, because you can upgrade your masculine energy in your life, which can cause the yin and yang. Also, the South Node in Sagittarius is masculine energy. It's still Jupiter, but it's the South Node, which means they're coming through differently. So please don't think that your masculines are going to come back all the same cookie cutter. The ego and the pain body experience might be showing that. If you find they're not moving and they're a bit stuck, let them be stuck. Let them be stuck. They'll move through it quicker. I observe my surroundings and know I am a divine guide. Leopard skin Jasper. Okay, Capricorn, what's coming up with you? Improved peripheral awareness, becoming an objective observer. Very Capricorn. Increased consciousness and reaction to others. Increased mental, physical, and emotional flexibility. Let's find out. Freedom. You're seeing people's perspectives, but you're also aware enough to know that you are free to choose. And I do feel those of you that are Capricorn, yes, in the past there might have been issues, but now where you are in your own personal energy, you've broken those limiting beliefs and you're ready to really free yourself. Okay, so for the empath energy. Okay, it might have taken a lot longer than you thought, and I think, if anything, some of you might be a little bit cross with yourself. It's like, I was supposed to be where I needed to be. You also may have tolerated a lot of lower frequency energies around you. Come Christmas, I do feel that you did last year really want to move, and you do have a wish in mind, and you're still working at that at the moment. You're just really knowing that the easiest way is to remove people that you don't trust, because you've got this card in reverse. So it's really, you just want to remove people that... You want to be free from toxicity, and that's really what I'm getting. You're also letting it be okay if it's masculine or it's an external person, whoever it be. You just don't have, it's almost like I'm seeing the kind of image in my mind that my guides are giving me is that there's tunnel vision, but it's not from a narrow-minded perspective. It's that, and this song keeps coming up too, you got 99 problems, and the past, you have too much to do. It's almost like you're moving. That new moon energy, it might be hard for a few days from it, moving after it 3 days, but after that it's all systems going. And you will find moving to the end of the month is much going to feel that way for many of you. So something that didn't resurrect and move and get to where it needed to be is really coming back up, but you're trying to really focus on your side of the fence. You're not worried about enemies because you don't mix with enemies. You don't mix with lower frequencies. And you're setting your intentions, and there can be a hope and a dream that you directly are tuning into at the moment. Some of you, I'll pull a card for, I'm feeling that there might have been a hope around Christmas, New Year's. Some of you may have also received a text message. There was a shared experience for some of you. One of you was a bit happier than the other. I do feel the masculines maybe didn't have as many things moving around them, but the feminines may have actually had a little bit more pleasure, one or the other. It's the yin to the yang. I don't know how they're kind of painting it, but what I'm saying is you know, having to just focus on what you did have versus what you don't have, and then just focusing all the creative energy onto happiness and what is going to take you to that next path. Some of you also may have been feeling, if you're not happy, why were you there at Christmas? I'm hearing that term. Okay, let's look at how the feminine is looking at Capricorn. No, the masculine is looking at the feminine. Okay. Okay, interesting. There is movement. Okay, your frequency, your energy in the last few weeks, and it can be the last few months. Your intuition and healing powers will guide you to a better path, but be careful. Yeah, look, you got the snake. They know you don't mix with lower frequency energies. They know that that's a you issue, that's not a them issue. Okay, so that they kind of they know where the devil energy is. And they also know that, you know, they're a bit paved. How do I put it? Masculines are aware that you don't like this. You don't do that. And that there's no judgment or shade, but it's something they need to address. So they're in awareness of this. It's also, there's a subject, some of you may have at a point in your journey maybe got flowers. And there's a superstitious energy surrounding this and a bit of comedy coming through. They're like... That might have been great in the past, but they feel they've got to do a little bit larger than that now. So the intent had been to kind of woo and romance you. This was the thought process, but I kind of feel they're looking at that like, yeah, if I haven't actually taken this full circle, those flowers will be kind of not going to cut it. But there has been large things that they've got infinite ways this can go. They're open to the way this can go, but it might have been some subjects you guys have talked about at some point. But the Chariot is the outcome at the moment for Capricorn. So your twin, the way they're looking at you, Capricorn, is they're knowing that you want to conquer the world. They're knowing that you want to have a world with them. They're also knowing that they need you to move forward, the masculines, right? But also, please don't bring the toxicity with you. That's sort of the energy that's coming through. It's like, look, if you've got some toxic, shady snake with you, please don't bother bringing that vibration with you. No amount of flowers, candy, and lollies are going to cut it. So there is a week break, a 1 week break, I'd say, but do expect very fast movement. And, you know, if anything, when you look at the time frame you've waited, if some of you can realize once this movement starts happening, it is going to be extremely fast. As long as you've moved into detachment, you will find that this moves probably faster than you would like, but it will move very fast. I'll come back to this in a minute. Let's have a look at Taurus. What's going on with Taurus? How are they doing? And then we'll see how the twin is looking at the situation. Okay. Oof, Taurus. There's a bit of stubborn energy here, right? Yes, there's a little bit of stubborn energy here. There's a circumstance playing out. Yeah, 1 week break because he blocked me. Let them do it and just sit quiet, Diva. Don't stress. Fools! If they're blocking you, it's because you're not giving enough attention. Just sit back, have your pina colada. We're experts at this, Diva. Okay. Taurus. In your opinion, you're not the problem to all their problems. You're not the solution to all their problems, and you're not the problem. They got 99 problems, but you're not one. The projection might be there, right? Moon. You don't, not a woman, not a feminine energy, not a mother energy. You're not the mother, right? That's what's coming through. We ain't your mama. You're big, whoever you are, right? Also, having to be paranoid and use your intuition and micromanage things, it just doesn't work. It gets tired, right? And you do release, which is good, because if they're an ego and you're getting headaches, feminine, you're purging the ego of it and you're purging trying to figure it all out. You just, okay, as for luck, we make our own luck. Yes, there are circumstances that play out. That's real life. It does. We're both 3D and 5D. Okay. I'm finding this part amusing. I don't know why. Thorn. You just like, look, I'm not gonna, we're not even fighting. What's the problem? Why are you in a pickle? That's what's coming through. It's like they're fighting themselves, but then it's like back and forward, back and forward. It's not too long, though. I'm telling you, I'm not feeling it's too long. Let's see what's coming through. It's not over. There's a circumstance that they haven't let go of. There could be a little bit of tit for tat. Not letting it go, holding on. They mentally know what it is, but they're not letting it go. Why aren't they letting it go? They're not on a mental prison anymore. Okay, they're an ego about misfortune. Right. You might be trying to protect them. You might be trying to say X, Y, and Z. It could be circumstances and people around them. But for you personal, you may be embodying a little bit of their energy through their ascension process. You're not mentally stuck, but you also don't want to go into drama. And if you're picking up on any of that, yes, you could be getting to a point you're thinking, God, and I'm finding you guys could be really assertive towards the masculine right now. Even if this is just the feminine who's not in communication and you're embodying it, you could be going through 99 emotions right now. But also almost going through this negotiation of the mind and the heart of, yeah, probably could, no, I don't want to. Do I look at my intuition? Intuition is good as long as there's hunch energy and you're like, I'm guided to do this, I'm guided to do that, but not from a pain body experience. If we're operating from that, it's not really intuition, it's fear-based frequency and ego. So you just got to always, it's that fine line to pay attention to that. There is going to be a fresh start, but it's going to require one or the other to take a leap of faith. And really, when twins are meant to come back into union, it is sort of, how do I put it? Not one of you will be able to run, and not one of you will run. You will address the devil in the detail. Okay, remember, is it coming from anger, ego, or is it coming from, is that a rational thing to do? Let them come pick it up. It's not your job. Let it sit there and gather dust till it ends up in the rubbish bin. And it won't be that long. So are you going in to get a raise or are you going in to give it over? There's two different things. Are we making love or war? Let's see how they're seeing you guys. How are they seeing you? All right, let's have a look at these minds and how they're transforming. Stuck. They're like, you don't value me. Oh, God, sacral chakras come up. Okay, the joining chakra in twin flame energy is sacral chakra. And look, this ruin, and that's why I thought earth signs, the ones that have been doing work on themselves, and it's not saying masculines don't, but I feel this is more the empath energy. Right, this is your counterpart's energy coming through. There's stubbornness and there's fear. And we all know in ascension path, it doesn't matter. It's not really about you, the growth and the triggers and that. You activate it, especially if something's stuck, and that's on both sides. This movement and this stagnation, they're holding on to something, right? So for you, Taurus, your twin is maybe hoping you would go back to a pattern, and it's not that they want you or like that pattern. I'm not saying that. But there is a trigger point and it is helping them purge, but there's also a lot of chemistry here. The sacral chakra, so fear-based frequency can come up through this room, and it is to do with fear and it is to do with disillusionment, and I'll quickly go back to it and I'll read it. Fear of change and procrastination, which is really the same as what's going on in astrology. and our ascension, we can get scared or we can be dragged. It's the way it is. And this will be their blockage, right? Do they just move on? They don't like looking at this shadow, but the circumstances around them, it's almost like they're going, I'm seeing a circle. They keep going in circles, but it will come back to a truth. It's only temporary. It's not, they're having to look at their shadow, but they're trying to avoid it. It's going to show them what they love and what they're scared of and why they're scared of it. But it is like the inner child energy. It's abandonment wounds and things to that degree. So they're in hermit mode at the moment, and it's because they were, and the funny thing is 9 times out of 10 it can be losses of jobs and things like that, where we've been operating from go, 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 and we haven't been focusing on ourselves, and then suddenly it stops and those things are taken, and we're forced into hermit mode because we've been avoiding it, and then it comes up regardless. So it's inevitable for all of us collectively when that does happen. They're scared someone's going to take you, but you're triggering them because you're not operating the same. And it's triggering them. Okay, Virgo, what's coming up for you guys? Number 1, you've got, I attract romance filled with divine love and I have a healthy sex life. Excuse my French, but it does say it on the card. It's in reverse. Now, if you're feeling tired, there can be emotions coming up at the moment. There can be deep fatigue. There could be inner wounds relating to intimacy, but it doesn't mean to say, if you're in a soulmate energy, it's not to do with that. This is something that's coming up, from the past. Let's have a look at your chart. Where are we? Away with fairies. Okay. Oh, heck. Okay. You've got Aquarius in the 6th house. You may have felt in the past that everyone wanted a piece of you. You may have felt that they may have picked people over you. Manifestation. Yeah, something in your power at an intimate level was taken from you. It might have felt like highway robbery. You're in, you're out. It's just it didn't make you feel spiritually connected. It was right at the beginning. I will go back and do the masculine in a minute. So I'll just do Virgo, and then I'll get back to the collective energy for the masculine. So this opening up, this can be relating to wounds. This can be your feelings. It can be old circumstances opening up. But look, manifestation. It may have been due to the fact that the masculine in the past was not able to. There might have been blockages relating to finance, money, something to do with the home-related environment as well. You really felt this would go the distance. Some of you, there could be marriage on the cards because I am seeing a woman walking down an aisle. But once you reach union with self, you are able to do that, right? But you're looking at your own foundation, Virgo. You're like, okay, in the midst of it, what am I passionate about? What do I need when it comes to home and family and the things that I want to bring into my life? The funny thing is you've got manifestation in the past position, which does show me that you wanting to manifest this, it does look as though you are going to be like the full cut in your foundation as you have nothing to lose and absolutely everything to gain. Because once you've had theoretical everything taken and you rebuild yourself back up, you have the red energy, which is your direct foundation. Nothing can ever be taken from you. When you do look at connections, and this is what Twin Flame Path really teaches you to do, a lot of times when we are inside a romantic connection, it may be due to the fact that we have children together, or it could be that there's financial joint ventures, which, yes, in a relationship, we have those shared things and we work together. But once it gets to a codependent point, it does become very much about the bills, okay, we're in a relationship, but over the actual, you're not giving anything to me, but I love you unconditionally regardless. So once you've moved through your trigger points into a twin flame journey, it's very much a choice, because if you didn't get your hopes and dreams with your twin, and your hopes and dreams change as you grow, once you do reach your union point, you're completely free. And so all you're embodying is love, because you're completely in personal duality. You're happy with your work, you look after yourself, you have your own friendship groups, you have your pastimes. And even away from those people, even losing friendships benefits you because you know who you are and it's not defining. So you're in the Fool card. For those of you that are feminines, that are Virgo, you're moving into the Fool card energy in Tarot, and it is trust the past will serve you. That's what I'm here to say. Okay, let's see what the masculines are feeling towards you. Okay, they know that you need them to be the leader and that you don't want to be the masculine in this. You don't want to be the boss. They also know that you maybe had mentioned that there was stubbornness here and that there was viewpoints that differed, but now you're saying they're saying the yin to the yang. But they were refusing to see this in the past. It might have been some conversations you had. It might have been viewpoints. It might have been how much you loved them. And they know that they weren't leading. They weren't taking the lead. They were going with the flow, maybe not actually communicating how they felt. And it left, they know that because they felt helpless, it then turned it into you feeling such. All they had wanted was that deep connection. If there was a choice between two individuals, they felt they chose through ego. I'm seeing the sun at the background before their head. See? And it's like they had two paths and, the sun was there and it came from ego, and it was because they thought it was going to be feeling that deep connection, but it was taxing, and if anything. And now they're faced with the memory of those things with, choosing a better path. They also know with ego and the work they put into things and being masculine, this can be coming full circle by the full moon in Leo. So a lot of kings are going to be rising, but it's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to purge that past in order to really move forward into that. Yeah, they know that you're tired of the daydreams. It's like, no, I'm not dreaming. I'm not having faith on an empty promise. I want to see the 3D. I'm not Mother Teresa, but, I want to see the 3D. I need to see something that is something, something that is moving, something where your words and your actions match. But it's so ironic. I'm almost seeing less words, more action, and that might actually really confuse feminines moving forward. Dreams come true. Yeah, they're like, they know that you feel disillusioned. They know that you want these things. So they know what they have to change and what they need to do to make it happen. I'm going to pull some cards for the collective of the masculines relating to all earth signs. They don't want a 5D connection anymore. They want a 3D connection. I think it's funny. That's why a lot of you won't have, once you reach a point in your journey, you don't feel their energy because they get fed up of dreaming about it too. Liberation. Yep, that's good. Okay, how do they feel connected to Divine Feminine? And what is the outcome this week? Let's have a look. Number one, amethyst. You're not feeling them on the 5D. You're like, this ain't my dream come true. No. And not angry about it. Just, I'm not feeling that yet. And you may not feel through your ascension symptom them in the 5D. You can still get them through in your dreams, but 9 times out of 10, it wouldn't have been that you're thinking about them prior to bed. And it will feel quite strange when you do have a dream about them. It's because they're dreaming about you. Now, any stalemate when it comes to the communication. Don't think nothing's moving, because there is an ending towards an old connection and bringing this connection full circle to you. There is going to be liberation. If they maybe had an egoic experience where they didn't have the confidence to explain how they felt and their emotions, the depthness of their energy, it's coming through. They're going to have this liberation. So there is peace. They're wanting to bring peace in. They may hush you. I'm just going to say. And the reason I say that is because, yet again, although the bird is coming peacefully, you're not hearing them out. And it's like, you need to listen. They're getting angry. They're like, listen. They're in a good vibration. They're coming from a number 7. So it is coming through in a healthy format, but you've got to see it through. Now, they want you to know they're willing to do this change. Fives are about change. They also know that you're very spiritual. They know that you've gone through hell and back, and they know that you're darn straight, don't want to have changes. And look, feminines, honestly, 2021 is a number 5, so we are going to have changes. But it's those changes are to, initially it might feel yucky, but then we come out and we're on top again. That's different. But changes that take us 20 years backwards through, once you're awoken, you can't really choose that. It doesn't work. Wisdom, knowledge, spiritual understanding. They do understand this. They understand where you're coming from now, that unconditional. And this is what's occurring for them. There's going to be 5 separate changes for them this week. This could be their emotions. It could be subject matters. It could be losing jobs. It could be looking and realizing they're butting their head against a circumstance, a wall, or a situation. However that's coming through, I just keep hearing the term, I told you so. But it's not that you've been harping at them. It's that these were like conversations over the lifetime of the connection, and they're thinking about these things now. So how are they feeling and what actions are they taking? They know they need to iron out this situation that's really unharmonious between them and feminine. Yeah. It's in reverse. They don't know how they're going to do that. They know you're going to put up a bit of a fight. This could bring some emotions up, and they know this. They know that these emotions run deep. And even if you're putting the brave face on, and some of you may not even know that those wounds are there, when it comes back up, it could be a huge release. But I am hearing some of you are getting peeved right off. I'm going to pull a clarifier on that. What is this about, please? That's okay, Kaya. Okay, so the hidden gift. Now, I think it's the whole art of appreciation. So they're in hermit mode at the moment. They're in sadness of endings and the new beginnings, and they're like perplexed. It's such a sucky thing. It's like, when you know better, you do better. So this is really what they're going through. They're kind of like, heck, why didn't I see that? Why didn't I see Miss Cinderella? Why didn't I see that person who they really were? And they can't also, when we are going through ascension, when we know better, we do better. They do want this with you. Right? They don't want to fight. They don't want the tension. Yes, the resentments are there, but can the forgiveness come? And this can be the sadness, but they're coming towards you regardless. They're wanting you to have that second chance. And you won't find they will initially. You need to learn that art of communication. If you understand that a lot of masculines, through their circumstances, and you don't have to, and not every masculine is like that. Thanks, Doc. Some, it's learning how to communicate together. If we have been on dictatorship and stating what a thing is, that's not really owning our power. That is projecting, it's frustration, but the communication is stating this is a safe place to speak. And, how do you feel about it? And teaching each other how to communicate, you've got to find your love language in the art of communication. It's a negotiation, right? If we're coming to it always about the past, we're still there. Yes, we need to talk about the past, but the thing is, this masculine, you've got to step back from it and you've got to, okay, if I have been gaining communication, have they been dropping hints and pebbles and signs and trying in little shapes and forms? Have I been scooping and acknowledging those small pebbles, which are huge steps for mankind in this circumstance? And if they haven't been, then yeah, totally within your right, and just quietly kind of step back and allow that. But if they have been, they're going to struggle initially, but they'll move through it quicker. So it won't stay that way, but they'll realise that these emotions can come pouring out. They do know that you don't want to do this forever, right? But they're having to face their fears. And this is abandonment coming up to the core. What happened to you, feminines, is now happening to masculines. And they know that it's time to level up. They know that these changes that they need to make, they need to get down to business to be able to bring this full circle. So there can be some emotions coming up. A lot of fives on the table here, guys. That's a lot of yucky changes. I don't like fives. I had lived in a house that was a number 5. And I tell you, my whole life was always changing schools, changing countries, changes in the family, people coming in, people coming out. Yeah, but a lot of times the communication hasn't been there because, you know, feminines in their life or people external to them were talking and dictating and things like that. So then when they come back, and again, if there's mother issues and energies, don't enable, because that can, you know, encourage to communicate. And if they don't say anything, you can't force it out of a person. But, you know, just try and keep grounded as possible. My masculine doesn't want to talk about the past. He gets upset and acts like the victim. But, yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. But that's because they don't like looking at the past because it wasn't so pretty. Yeah, well, look, when they're ready, they're ready. In any situation, we may have at a point been a victim. But once we have been there, we no longer are because it's already occurred. And that goes for feminines too. Talking about the past doesn't change the past. I have asked questions to my twin, but I also know that I have seen 3D changes. And the thing was, you've got to go back to what you wanted to be different. Are they moving? Are they reacting? Are they calling you? Go with that and see how it goes. And, you know, keep focusing on your side of the path. I would say to you, there's movement this year. Their ascension process was last year for their awakening. They're awake now, and now they're doing the wound work and being challenged by it because they have to ascend. They're ascended, they're awake, but now it's being a human and how to change that. It's not fun. I wouldn't like to be masculine. No, not at all. Any questions in the house? That was rather fatiguing. That was fatiguing, I tell you. They're very tired at the moment. He has a difficult time forgiving. Usually if a person can't forgive, it's because they can't forgive themselves. And they have very, very high standards for themselves, which is why potentially I had an interesting channeling coming up this morning. Those of you that subjects relating to children that have been coming up, if automatically their response is no, it's actually because they're being adult about it and because they want to, you know, the first step is not, you know, reconciliation, let's have a baby. I mean, those of you that have kids, that's different. You've already got children, right? But most masculines, if you come through like that, if you're ready to have a child, that's a different thing. But if like the first thing they hear, I don't feel when they reach an ascended state, they're going to run. They're not going to run. They'll look at you and look like, okay, well, there's a natural cycle and a step. Can we do things traditionally? But it doesn't mean that that's right or wrong. You know, children come through when they're ready to come through, especially psychically speaking. Like they come through when they're ready. But if you're having that come up for you, you do need to look at, A, is it because you're just ready to? And A, does it have to be with that physical person? We're in a bloody twin flame, you know, connection, but I mean, I know what you mean. And separately, is it because you are embodying fear that we are running out of time and you must, in twin flame journey, detach from time? Decided to choose my path with my soulmate. How do I move on and stay there? Well, you haven't moved on then. That's why I always say don't enter new energies into situations because it's basically like the masculine jumping in a nest, hiding under a wing of another person because we feel broken. They can't fix it. And if you're still tuning into your masculine, there is no point being in a soulmate relationship because now you're hurting yourself. You're putting yourself in a predicament where it's going to hurt the soulmate, hurt you, and you're going to be torn. Plus, if you're still healing over your twin flame, why the devil would you want a connection? I've been there, done that. I just can't do that. Decided to choose my path with a soulmate. How do I move on? You can't. Moving on, making peace with it. We need to get to a point where we're purging that codependent pattern, number one. So when it comes to the twin flame connection, a lot of their ascension was last year. Now, naturally, if we're meant to, and this is the horrible thing about having the tag, I'll be perfectly honest with you guys. I found out I was a twin 4 years ago. Now, had I initially, in my pain body experience, known 10 odd years ago, I probably would have never ushered any bloody connection, and I may not have had my daughter. Do you know what I mean? So there are things you're supposed to live. You've got to live. But if you're thinking about your twin still, why the heck would you want another relationship? Do you know what I mean? And it's no shade. I've been there, done that, and you can't function. You just can't. When you're healing, it's like having a rebound. And that could be the most wonderful person in the world, but it just gets so messy and painful. So it depends. Now, number one, if you're wanting to move on and you really feel this person is the bee's knees and you want to be with them, that's fine. But you will need to stop looking at twin flame journeys. You will need to do the inner work. When you feel their energy, you will have to blow it out. And I can't say you won't see your twin again. Because if your soul is meant to have that transaction again, they'll come in whether you like it or not. And if there is more karma and there's blockages and you're in a soulmate relationship, you can have the white picket fence and the baby. You know, if it's coming back, then it's coming back, and it's for your soul to learn. Now, at a point in your journey, you can attract a soulmate energy. And it is because you're fatigued and you need to be shown how to be treated on a high octane. So you can actually kind of attract a soulmate energy in. But if you don't deeply, deeply love them, you know, it can be really hard to. It can be yucky, especially if you're crying, you know. No, I wouldn't do that. So, hey, hat off to you. I was like, I thought I was going to become a nun. Right. And, you know, went through that. No, first it was, I think I'm batting for the wrong team, because feminines understand feminines. My sister laughed at me because I'm very open. And then it was, I'm going to become a nun. Just nothing, which I did. I did nothing. And that was great too. And then I was scared of connections. I was like, oh, I don't want this. It's all gross. It's all yucky. You do move forward, but it's generally when you've got to a whole state that your twin flame no longer defines you. That you've seen it, you've done the very best, you've absolutely made peace with it. And, you know, you have love and light for them. And if they're happy, you're happy for them. And you're just going to be happy. If you can reach that state, that's when you're ready to have a connection. The past, I chose soulmates and left them. I could... Yeah, and again, when they do come back, you got to ask yourself a question. If you haven't got that self-control energy when they do come back, no, it's just, it can be messy, but you can't wait forever either. So the soul work, the soul clearing is the key to it. You've got to get to a point where you can just become peaceful. But you've got to live for today too. So it won't help you to look at twin flame journeys unless you're looking at the coaching and you're working out how to deal with the ascension, how to deal with the psychic attacks. For me, I didn't know I was a twin. I was in the soulmate energy. Years and years and years later, I started having the ascension symptoms relating to the awakening. My awakening started very early in my life, but it closed down again and it started up again, I would say maybe 2012. Very heavily, where I was seeing fives and numbers and things, but I'd always been psychic, so I just connected my twin flame journey to, I'm psychic. I feel his energy. I can see it, you know, and yeah, I could. Yeah, I could. But as to how I felt after the separation, I actually met union with myself. So I had the worst of the worst, attracted all the worst and the worst through the twin flame path, and realised through those blockages that come up and those, you know, all my fear-based frequencies, because we embody that, that once I faced them, they no longer defined me, and I was free for the first time in my entire life. But even it's just a tag, but away from the tag, it is a reality, and you will know if you're a twin because the psychic attacks will come through. And I had no desire to reconcile point blank zero. But I had the psychic attacks, which means to function as a human being with that was very difficult, to try and have a functioning relationship with psychic attacks, because empaths, there's empaths and psychic energies and the joint connection. And when you go away, part of your soul contract is together. You're to trigger each other to come to a whole point. And, some twin flames aren't romantic partners. Some are. But with that, you have a soul contract. Once you pass those cycles, you will move away when it gets too hard. When you're coming back together, both are running. So you walk back to be shown what is and what has been cleared, and you're in openness again. And that's why the detachment is necessary. And once you're at peace, you're not controlling, you're not seeking outside yourself and finding another person. 9 times out of 10, if you start having soulmate energies coming towards you, within a week, 2 weeks, you have your twin flame come back. And that's because you're open. That's all you need to be, is open. And so that should be the first writing on the wall. All these nice people are attracted to me. It's like, yeah, hold on, feminine. Wait 2 weeks. You don't want the world of drama. How many of you have that happened to? Heck. That used to be the story of my life. Just when I get my life together. He laughs about it. He thinks it's hilarious. So, yeah, number 1, try not to allow the tag to define you. But, for instance, if you told your twin, guess what, we're a twin. It's not like a marriage. It's not like a baby. It's not if anything, it will do the polar opposite. It'll trigger them and they'll go, you're balmy. This spiritual connection is a knowingness. It's a knowing of the connection. They do it differently to us, but it is a knowingness. I started awakening when I started to date twin. Yeah. Oh, I was telling my daughter again this morning. I said, when I met twin, I thought he was interesting. Initially, it was, a lovely person, really interesting. Something about you. You're quite handsome. Didn't really think anything of it. And then he started irritating me. Triggered me. Pain in the butt. Irritated me. And then it was, connection. But initially, no. Pain in the butt. Yin yang balance, KR. It's probably because you need the nurturing right now, doll. Don't feel guilty, number 1. You do what you feel, but it will be hard. I can't lie to you. Being in a soulmate energy, especially when we're treated really beautifully and they're normal, it doesn't immunize it. And you may find any blockages you had with your twin, they will come up with your soulmate to do that healing work as well. I have a few soulmate and karmics. I'm not interested in anyone at present. Yeah, whatever floats your boat. I thought about that. I was like giggling. I make a joke about the fact we wanted to lobotomy. Well, like maybe then we can be like Inspector Spock or a Buddhist monk, and I said that just before we had the pandemic, I think. I think it was when I was doing a lot of readings in 2017, 18, and I started looking at the astrology, I was like, what we're going to have to move through this twin flame path, we will effectively become like Buddhist monks. We're like wheat in the wind. It will be blowing. And we will blow off course, but we will accept that like Abraham Hicks and not flow against the rapids. We will flow with it because we can't control environment. We control how we show up in it. So that seed then blows from that wheat, and that seed plants in another location. That's shifts that we effectively have. Now, we did have a lot of Pisces back then. We had Chiron and Pisces, and a lot of people were in despair. So for me personally, through my twin flame process, I had that lockdown energy back then. So it no longer defines me. It's acceptance. It's what I've been doing online for a while. Then for a lot of you, yours started around 1920. That was amping up, moving into 2020. So your hermit mode energy at a very heavy level happened. Therefore, as my hermit energy was ending, I went into union the following year. And I did have a notification on Facebook to do with that. And that anniversary of our reconciliation and reconnection was on the day of Uranus and Taurus going direct. So your pattern, see what's coming up. Movements will come in. Juno's transited, which is feminine. It's moved to Sagittarius. Masculine energy has the South Node in Sagittarius, and they're currently in Mars energy. They're changing groups. Their self-esteem is building. You're not seeing it yet. It doesn't look pretty first, right? It's a bit like, for the first time I'm going to put makeup on, and you put it on and you're like, you tell your little girl, you're like, honey, that's beautiful. And they're like, all right. And they got lipstick all over their teeth. Like, come on, honestly. When a giraffe is born, does it look like it can walk right? No, it can't. Okay, give it a few. So, yes, it's not going to look too fantastic, but it's a process. It's a process. Let's not break people's legs because they're learning. The past, yes, it was painful. We can't turn time back. We have not. We're not Tesla yet, but we could learn that this year. There's every possibility with science. But yes, Tesla would be great. A lobotomy potentially. I mean, because that would be handy. But you will actually, if you do want a booking and you want me to tune into you actually psychically, feel free. But I mean, all of us are in top. Look, a choice is a choice, right? Number one, you will always have ascension relating to your twin. If you can manage that, if you can move away from guilt and you can find inner peace, you can have your soulmate. It is hard. It's hard. It's hard yards being a twin, let alone hard yards being in a soulmate energy as well as those circumstances. Yeah, it's going to move quick, but it's all those things that didn't work. They're now going to be recorrected this year. Just thinking of that makes me exhausted because that was not fun back there for me. Yeah. Any questions? This is the longest one. They're probably going to think, why'd you give so much to Capricorn and Virgo and Taurus? Why? Because actually, the nodes were relating to back then to a degree in this video. And also because Capricorn, you guys would have gone through a lot of hell this week and this month, as well as Taurus, as well as Virgo. Virgo, let's just have a look at the wheel. Bear with me. I need to print this out. 5 seconds. And then I'll have to love you and leave you because I've had you guys way too long now talking your ear off. Where is it? Just trying to find the wheel. And my twin sign now. Okay. I'll have to find, where is it? Here. You need to look at your shadow sign. View page, image. Where's Virgo? I'm going to print this one off. Okay. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Now, a lot of subjects relating to the shadow side of Virgo is Pisces. Now, yes, so all of these things relating to our emotions, the past, and all the rest of it, we did have Chiron in Pisces. So we're looking at our psychology. We're looking at our emotions. So the shadow sign of that is such. Indeed. You're drinking gallons of water, I tell you, crown chakra, that's why. Uranus can relate to that too. So anyhow, I will leave you. I will do a collective energy update for the following week, moving into the last week of the month. Yes. So weekly, I will be doing weekly astrology forecasts. And that will be for the collective energy, moon energies as well. So I'll get back into that. And then we're going to have like twin flame check-ins. We'll do it by element. And I'll try and pick a savvy way to do this. And also your psychic monthly. So I'll be starting those next week. If you do want a private booking, you're running out of time because I will be blocking out time. So jump on now and grab a booking. As to, anything you want to look at in your life, be it it's your career and money and things like that. Yeah, I'm tired of it. Capricorn, Cancer, Venus. Yeah, and see the shadow sign is Cancer, and the shadow sign of Cancer is Capricorn. So it's facing our shadow inside those things. Yes. I'll try and have one. Yeah. Love and light, guys. Look after yourselves. Bye.